Hey, hey, welcome to another edition of Greg's Day Out, where Greg recaps a day in a beer adventure. I like, I'm not really good at, writing these things, so I'm better at just talking about it. So, last Saturday, October 4th, 2025, I had the pleasure of going up to Appleton for um, the Fox Valley Lagerfest put on by the McFleshman's Brewing Company. And so I was there Saturday. But before I went there, I had to stop in newly opened Vault 202 in Appleton, right basically on College Avenue, right up the street from McFleshman's. Recently opened. They opened in July, I believe. And um, they put a lot into this. This is an old, reform or remodeled um bank. It is in like in a so it's a bank, so it's in like a business type area. It's in a business area, but College Avenue, for anyone who's been there, it's a mix of businesses and mostly beer establishments, places to imbibe, restaurants. Further up the stores, there's just it's just like Main Street. It's Main Street Appleton, basically. But it's like Main Street America. And Vault is located there. Um, I was, I knew that, they all had a great opening with many different collaborations and all that, so I was really excited to get in there to see it. And it's Wisconsin's. No, no, no. It's not the youngest brewery. The youngest, or it might no, it might be the youngest brewery that has opened. We had Gnarly Cedar open afterwards, but Gnarly Cedar was already established somewhere else, and then they moved. So it wasn't like a brand new, brand opening. Gnarly Cedar, was known and probably were able to, get a whole lot of, of their regulars in. So Vault 202 is this, 100% new, class of 25. So yeah, went into Vault, and the big feature about Vault is, the Vault, right? And as you see, they got the Vault still there, y'all, and it's pretty nice. Little setup here as they go, and you can see there that like it's new. Like there's not really they haven't really done much but you know put some furniture down there. And it's downstairs, so it's if y'all would like to see, go back on Badger Beer Report on Facebook, and you should be able to see. I did a live, and um hi Joan, how you doing? um I did a live, and on the day that I was there, and I walked through all of Vault, and I went downstairs. So you'll be able to see that if you go to the Facebook page. But I that the video I have here, that's just a little clip that I took, but you can just see how beautiful it is. This is downstairs, and upstairs is on the first floor is the brewery and the restaurant part. And you can see those pictures on our Instagram. But yeah, this is downstairs. This is I'm pretty sure you can talk to them and have that space if you want. Rent that space out for any kind of gathering and all that. I don't know. It was cool. I'll tell you right now, it was cool. As someone who goes around looking for breweries and distinct, interesting, unique ones, Volt has that. What also Volt has is excellent, excellent beer. Excellent beer, y'all. The one on the left is a porter, the one on the right is a Kolsch, and the one in the back was a Milko pour. And if y'all familiar with that, it's supposed to be all foam and like a little bit of beer in the bottom, all foam. But I was downstairs at the vault taking that picture or taking that video y'all just saw when they delivered my beer. So by the time I got back up, it wasn't a full Milko pour, but I did slam it, and it was excellent. It was excellent. All these beers are great. The porter was really nice, and the Kolsch was, crisp like we want our Kolsch's. Um, so then this really stole the show for me. This really stole the show for me. This is a milk tube. They call it a milk tube, and as you can see, it is all foam and a little bit of beer. And the deal is, you just slam that, and it's not like slamming. Um, all the it's not salmon like a full beer because it's not liquid, it's foam. So like they say they describe it as a dessert beer, so like they're like, oh, this is dessert, we treat it like a dessert beer. So and it was only $2 for that pour, so the pours are smaller. Or the pour they charge you, because you just get foam, but it is delicious. It was better than those three beers that I had right before that. It was, in my opinion, was better. It was just fun. It just goes down really quick. And again, we're used to the it's too much foam in my beer, all that. No, the foam can be the best part, and for this one, it was excellent. That was fun. That's what I left with my last beer before went to Lagerfest. But yeah, Volt 202. So they have two of the, I believe they have two beers that they offer these full pours, these Milko pours, or these foam pours as they call them. And again, they're just like dessert, y'all. You just throw them down, and like I don't know, it just tastes great. It just tastes great. All the mouth feel for me was amazing. The taste of the beers, it was great. Vault 202, I'm telling you, they hit all the points. I did have, did I bring my picture up here? Um, and I did have wings and a pizza. I enjoyed the wing. The wings were oven roasted, so I think that you put the wings in the same oven as let me get this milk or this milk tube. So I'm pretty sure that they cook the wing. The wings aren't fried. It says oven fried. I think it says, or oven something. They're not fried though. But they come out crispy like they're fried. And I don't know. I had the hot honey. It was excellent. It went great with the beers. And the pizza was good. And we had, I believe, pretzels too. And their, beer, beer cheese. It wasn't. I don't know if it was beer cheese. Oh, they had pimento cheese, and I think they had like a beer mustard. Both excellent. So Vault 202. Can't say it enough. Appleton, Wisconsin. I know that. Listen, I know that there's Happy Yard. There's McFleshman's. There's Lion's Tail nearby. I mean, there's just bangers all over the place up there. But this is another one, and uh, y'all need to get there. Highly recommend it. And when you do, please let us know. Also let them know that we told you. But if whatever, go and have a good time. Ambiance, food, beer, I actually thought when I drove up, and it was on the left, I drove up to college when I, was coming into town, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is right in town. This is, parking's going to be an issue. So I made a left and went behind the building, and there was just a full on parking lot. Um, no signs. You just parked there. I was able to walk right around, get involved. Was able to walk right back out, no problems. This is a Saturday, right? So the farmers market I think was right there, and I don't know. It was just easy in and out, even on a busy street. You know, on a fairly busy day, it was easy. So access is easy, food is great, beer is great, ambiance is great, everything. So Vault 202, I told you. If you didn't hear it before me, I told you. And we told you here about your beer report because we've been excited about this one. We've been talking about this one. Y'all follow our media for months. And we also have a podcast on Spotify and our website. But you could probably access it easier on Spotify. Joel talked to Scott, who is one of the owners, founders of Vault. And that was an interesting conversation. And that was before Vault was open. So you can get the concept, the thought processes, everything that was going on Vault before we open, or before they open, and we talked to them. How about that? There's the way. So, yeah, and I mentioned that McFleshman's is kind of close, right? So it was like it's like I don't know, Google Maps, an 8-minute walk for me to get to Lagerfest. So I took off from Vault 202 and made the walk to McFleshman's, which was, I don't know, Google said 8 minutes. I think I made it in five. And I don't know if y'all, for those who know me, I've been walking a little bit slower than I'm used to in my old age. So, uh, but I made it in 5 minutes. Steady walk, hit the lights, all that. So it's nothing between. There's nothing of a walk between Vault and McFleshman. So, and then when you have McFleshman's, you have right around the corner Appleton Beer Factory. So, again, that corridor is just great. Soon we're gonna have Ope up there, but we'll save that for another time. Um, so yeah, I was lucky and privileged enough that Bobby gave was offered me a press pass so that I could come into the Lagerfest for free, and so I was there before like when the VIP opened, and so I don't know. Lagerfest was this, I think there was 20 breweries there. It didn't feel like 20, honestly. It felt like smaller than that. It's a really, really small um uh let me find the right words. It's a small, welcoming um gathering. It wasn't, when you say beer festival, there's many things that could come to your mind. And some of y'all have been to one of the biggest beer festivals in the world, whether it be Oktoberfest. I know some of y'all have been. I know some of y'all have been to GABF. I know some of y'all have been to the Great Taste of the Wet Midwest. All of them are bigger and respectfully badder than Lagerfest. Lagerfest is a small town celebration of lagers put on by the McFleshman's Brewing Company. And it was some of the best brewers in Wisconsin. I will show you that in a second. And it was just a really fun event. So I'll show you some pictures here. And I just wanted to so I don't I was having so much fun. I didn't take that many pictures. I did not. But what I did do is I was able to this one I love. So that's on the left. If y'all not familiar, that is Clint, head brewer from Working Draft, head brewer, master brewer, all that at Working Draft Brewing Company in Madison, Wisconsin. And if y'all know any of y'all know anything about Working Draft, y'all know they do lagers well, and they do them all the time. And they don't do them for just special occasions. They do them because that's their backbone, and that's what Clint loves. And him and I had some very excellent conversations today. That day, that was really one of my highlights. Was hanging out with Clint. Pretty much, I don't know. I felt like half of the day, and we walked around and we were talking to people and had some different engagements. So that was excellent. Now the two on the right, y'all, are obvious. Not obviously, but to me it's obvious. But that's Bobby and Allison Fleshman, or McCoy Fleshman. Well, she's Allison McCoy Fleshman and he's Bobby Fleshman. I believe that's how it works. And you put the Mick and the Fleshman together, you got Mick Fleshmans. So that's them too. And they, their brewery puts on this event. So I was able to snap a picture with them because they were just running around doing all kinds. Bobby was all over the place, being, they both were being, obviously the stewards of the show, but also Bobby was doing podcast interviews all day. And, Allison was putting out fires. I did see her put out a couple fires. And then, I'm sure Bobby was putting out fires too. So it wasn't just on that, the Professor Allison. I call it, well, they call her Professor Allison. I jumped on it because she's a professor of, she was a professor, or she is actually. I'm sorry, she still is currently a professor of chemistry. My bad. Actually, you're always a professor once you are one, right? The how, you know what I'm saying. But like, so yeah, yeah, yeah. They were running around. I had a little bit of time. This is one of the times I was able to catch them together during that day. So that was great. So it was interesting because now here's a picture I really enjoyed, and I think this happened right before the picture that y'all just showed, or I just showed y'all. And I was talking to Clint, and Clint was like, "Yo, what's going on? Blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, we're just talking." And somehow during the conversation, it came out that Clint said he never had met Bobby Fleshman, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Oh, look, I'm almost stepping all over my chair here too. I was just surprised because these two, in my opinion, are some of our best lager brewers in the state. It might even be regionally. They both have such a dedication and love of lagers. And they're just both this is my opinion and I'm entitled to it, y'all. They're both badasses. They're both very good at what they do, and they're both very loved by our community. And by our community I mean the brewing community. I have never heard anybody say anything ever bad about these two. And I've heard some things about other people. Believe me, we hear things here at the Bad Ship Beer Report, but never anything with these two ever. Nothing but good, glowing compliments that go beyond their ability to brew beer, if that makes sense. So it's not just about the beer that they brew, which is phenomenal. It's just them as people and how people are treated around them. So yeah, it was cool to introduce those two. I'm not taking any credit for nothing. I was just lucky. I was just able to be the man in charge, and hopefully, I don't know. I didn't hear the conversation. I kind of said, "Hey, Bobby, I'm pretty sure Clint told me that you never met him from Work and Drive." And Bobby's like, "Wait, what? No, I never did." And then boom, and that moment happened, and there were some conversations, and that's cool. But hey, you never know. You never know with brewers, and yeah, we always want something, cooking with our brewers. So you never know with that, but that was my highlight. That was one of my highlights. Another highlight was I connected with a bunch of different brewers and owners from Lombardi to Mosinee to Ope to again Vault. Chris from Vault. Shout out to Chris from Vault. We had a good time hanging out. I was kind of bugging him before because I was like, Chris, I'm coming into town and I want to see you over at Vault. Blah blah blah. So then he wrote me an email, a really nice worded, gracious email saying, "Look, Greg, and this was earlier in the week. He's like, look, Greg, I'm coming in from Green Bay, and I got to grab this stuff, and I'm the one who has to set up there, so I won't be able to meet you at Volt, but meet me at Lagerfest, and we'll have a conversation, blah blah blah." And that was cool, right? I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, Chris, no worries, no worries." So I don't know, I 3 days later, I forgot, y'all. So I sent Chris an email, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm coming in. Yo, you're gonna be at Volt?" And he's like, "Dude, I'm sorry, I can't be in Green Bay." And I was like, "Wait, I'm in Green Bay," and he told me that, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I asked you that." So Chris, shout out to Chris, he was gracious, and we talked about a lot of Volt, and he's told me his history. He used to work at a couple different breweries in Wisconsin, and it was just a really good conversation. Connected with the brewer from Mosinee, connected with Lombardi Brewing, which is actually, I'm sorry, Lombardi Brewing is our newest. There's been so many openings. Uh, Lombardi Brewing is our newest opening, actually, in Milwaukee, in the old cool City. No, 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 Cool City's up north. City Lights. There you go. The old City Lights building in Milwaukee. They took it over and all that. So Lombardi just opened is our newest brewery. My bad. Vault is one of them. How about that? So and I got to speak to the owner of Lombardi, who's also Lombardi, y'all, is um partially owned by D1. And D1's out of middle Wisconsin in the Stevens Point ish area, right, y'all? D1's owned by them. So or D1 half owns Lombardi, and I believe is brewing the majority, if not all, of their beer. So I was able to speak to their owner, and hopefully we'll be able to get someone from them on to discuss that fascinating brand because it's fascinating because Lombardi. Like, is there any more of a royal name in Wisconsin than Lombardi? And if there is, please tell me. So, just the name alone should do something. So, oh yeah, look at this, look at this. Great meeting you. Looking forward to more chats and pints soon. Oh, and those milk tubes, Chris. I was I don't know how long you've been here, but I was telling them how good it was. Those are so excellent. I just don't know why we don't see that more. And the fact that y'all have that on your menu, I hope y'all still keep it going. I hope that's something that I can look forward to every time I come in there. It appears that. that's the way. So that's great. And hopefully by y'all doing that more, and Working Draft has been doing it on special occasions. And then every time I go in there, I ask if they have something on the side pool. So I'm even now tuned into it. I want to see more of y'all do this. Also, Chris, a suggestion I would love to see y'all do is coal service. So I don't know that that takes a lot of glasses and stuff, and that's really it's highly intensive customer service wise. I believe it would be really highly intensive for like the waiters to be pulling all those coasters back and forth. But I love coal service. Oh my goodness, look it up, y'all. I'm not gonna get into it, but look up coal service and you'll see what I'm talking about. But it's this Kolsch all day, every day, and it's all these. They just keep feeding them to you. Um, so yeah, but Chris, really, I just can't say enough about how I was impressed at Vault, on everything, and the beer. I mean, y'all just killed it, especially with the milk tubes. Here, real quick, let's show the milk tubes before I get out of here. But yeah, that was a milk tube right there. Of man, I don't have. I can pull it up here. I think. I don't have the beer that what it was called. Actually, I do. I won't be able to show you a picture, y'all, because it was called Three Cheers. It was a Czech style amber lager. Oh, and it was the McFleshman's Appleton Beer Factory Volt collab. So three of the best, Appleton breweries collabed. Yeah, three of the best. That's my opinion. But Appleton has how many damn good breweries? So, but three bangers came together to do this, and it's excellent. That's all I got for you. So, Greg's day out will conclude with that, y'all. It was an excellent day out on October the 4th. Both things are highly recommended. Vote 202. And also, McFleshman's Lagerfest, low key, approachable, friendly beer fest. Anybody's welcome. You feel that it doesn't feel like you have to be a beer geek or, you don't get that sense of overwhelming FOMO or over stimulation or any of the things that happen at the other beer fest, the bigger ones. And again, the bigger ones are great. Don't get me wrong, but there's a level of just being able to, have a lower key beer fest where it's really, it's really it at these beer fests for me. It becomes more about the people and the conversations than it is about trying to run around and get every beer. And if you notice, I haven't even mentioned any of the great beer that I had because I've respectfully forgot a lot about them. I mean, I can. Y'all want me to go down the list? I can. I do have a list of great ones. A lot of them were Oktoberfest. There were some great fest beers. The McFleshmans were literally. It felt like running around with cascales. Like every so often, they had a cascale that they released. So they would walk around the whole fest with a big bell, like screaming that they were tapping this cascale, right? So when they tapped the cascale, they literally just opened it and just had people have pints under it. So like it was like that until it was gone because the line was gone and it was just like so I was running my mouth the whole day with like Chris and like I told you, Clint and the Appleton Beer Factory fella. I mean, I was just all over the place, right? So I only got to the last one. So we get to the last one, and the last one I was like, "Wait, where's this at?" Because I'm always missing it. Because I went and looked for it, and it wasn't the time. And then it went so quick because again, it was a big production made, and then people got in line immediately, and like you had to be there. And I was just too busy running my mouth everywhere. Oh, Cocoon had one that was excellent. I mean, it just went on and on and on. But so by the time I got one, it was the last one. It was Oktoberfest and Oak Barrels, and it wasn't my favorite. So I missed out because I'm like, oh man, I know I missed some bangers because I had one of Bobby's that wasn't that wasn't for me or I didn't feel it was great. I didn't say it wasn't great. It just wasn't for me. Um, and so the fact that I had a Bobby beer that kind of wasn't for me was kind of weird because I'm like everything that Bobby makes, I will drink literally everything. Without even thinking. And I would drink that one again. It just again wasn't for me. So it was kind of weird. And that was the last one. So I was like, all right, we're gonna do this better next year. You ever go anywhere and you like miss something and you're like, okay, next year I'm gonna do this better. Next year, it's highly recommended. Y'all go to Lagerfest. Make sure you are paying attention to Bobby's cast because he I think he dropped like 4 or 5 and he teased that on the show last Friday. Joel and I went live on the show. Y'all can find that through all of our stuff. Um, Bobby was on there, and I will actually I have to go in today and republish that conversation because it was great. Now the Lagerfest stuff will be well dated a year, but it'll be the same thing because Bobby talked about Lagerfest, but he also talked about how he had some secret beers and how that he didn't tell anybody and they were going to release them. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait. And then, of course, I completely dropped the ball when I was there because I was so. Um, but as you can see, or you can probably see on my face, I had a really good time and I highly recommend that one. And again, that one it was just about the people for me. The beer was excellent. I didn't have again the worst beer I had, in my opinion, was the Cascale from Bobby, and that was like one of the last beers I had because it was it was like it was dropped like it felt like it was dropped like 20 minutes before the festival ended. So, um, it was definitely one. And then, where is? Hold on a sec. Yeah, I could not I could not talk about the festival without talking about this monstrosity of a glass that they give you. So, and it's nice, but this is a nice mug. This is like you know what I mean? This is like a good stein. This is like it's made great. I think, of course, if you dropped it, it would break, but we didn't hear anybody drop. None of them. I didn't hear anything drop. Maybe it did. And I don't know. I don't know, y'all, if it busted, but so it was great. But I didn't get a pour. I got one pour up high. I forget what it was. But I didn't really get a pour above that. I was always looking for the little pours. Y'all know me. I need a little squig, and I need to move on. If it's good, I can get more. But and again, beer was great. But I don't really, you know, I don't. There was a lot of standouts, and I wrote them down and all that. But I don't. I didn't come here to really talk about that. I wanted to talk about what I felt was the overall overshadowing theme, which is just people and just meeting people and just that community that McFleshman's has built over 8 years now. So I believe they're in their eighth year, might be ninth. But McFleshman's has been building, and with the community, they're out at the farmers market. They're everywhere up there in Appleton. So shout out to the McFleshmans. And they're just opening it and welcoming to all everybody, including breweries like Vault. You see, they got they were there, I think, the first day of the soft opening. They had a collab with they have a collab now with them. They had a collab, maybe another one before. So yeah. So I can't say enough about McFleshman's. I've been impressed with their beer and their atmosphere and just everything about them. But also, I said it on Friday. I'm gonna say it again. I am a I fanboy Bobby because Bobby executed what I went to school for, which is he's an astrophysicist. Went to school for astrophysicism. Trivia question or trivia answer, but I never finished. So mostly money, but I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, so it's kind of Daytona Beach. So I dealt with that, like going from Pennsylvania to Florida. It was something. So that was part of it too. But but no. Bobby is an astrophysicist, and I grew up wanting to be one. So that is always going to be an angle that I love about Bobby and the approach that he brings to his beers, and approach him and Allison bring to Flushman. It's just what I love about them and also about the event. But yes, disclaimer, I got a press pass to go there to talk about it, and I'm here talking about it. But that doesn't mean that I won't tell y'all the truth. And everything I say is authentic about what I feel about them, the event, and everything. And I even told you I didn't like one of Bobby's beers. So there you go. Um, but I'm not supposed to. Bobby is Bobby has literally probably brewed almost 100 different beers or something like that. So how in the heck is anybody going to like 100 different things that somebody comes? The answer is you're not. So, and so I don't get long in the tooth. I'm here longer than I thought I was going to be for my day out, but my day out was so excellent. So I had to come out and tell y'all. So just so y'all don't get, like what did I just say about Bobby? How do the man brewed 100 different things. How do you narrow it down to one? Well, how does Greg, Greg needs to get off of here. So like, this isn't one thing out of the Badger Beer Report that y'all get to know about. So on that note, look for Bobby's. So a couple things to look for real quick here. Look for Bobby's interview to come out. Just to deliver this him in the interview. I'm gonna cut that up hopefully this late afternoon or evening, and get that out to y'all because that was excellent. And then Joel and I did a brewery report, which I'm gonna cut up too and put that out. Um, Funner brewery report, y'all. We were having some beers, and it was on my Friday stream, which is a little bit loosier and goosier. It's a lot of bit loosier and goosier than Badger Beer Report. So Joel and I were, we let loose a little bit, gave our opinions more, and that was fun. But we'll put that out too. And then lastly, look for Tailwinds in Oxford Grove. I always get this wrong. Tailwinds Brewing Company is opening soon in Oxford Grove. I think they almost even had a soft opening. They're brewing beer, so they're going to be rolling it out soon. And Joel talked to Rick McNabb, who's the owner, and that brewery's been y'all. That brewery's been in development, y'all, for at least 6 or 7 years. And it was built up from scratch, kind of like not even Vault wasn't built from scratch. Vault, remodeled. So Tailwinds is built from the ground up, like Boulder Junction. So, and hopefully we'll have that one soon. But I think we're going to have Tailwinds first. But Joel talked to the owner, Rick McNabb, late last week about everything Tailwinds. So we're going to, I'm trying to get that out tonight. I don't think I'll be able to. So tomorrow for sure, look for Joel's interview with Rick McNabb from Tailwinds, which is yet to be open. And then look for Bobby's cut up interview. So y'all can just catch that out if you don't want to go check out my speakeasy conversation on my daddy Porter. And actually, it shows up it should be on our YouTube page for the report. And I think it went out to Facebook too. So you should be able to find that. So I'm gonna get out of here. Blabbing for half an hour, but that was an excellent Saturday. That was an excellent Saturday. Left Madison early, got home late. I was able to sleep at home. It was great. It was great. So and I had a designated driver. I have a traveling partner, y'all. So I have someone who comes with me and makes sure that I get home great and I'm not driving around like an idiot after I'm drinking all day. So I got it. It was good. It was good. So cheers, y'all. I'm out of here. Greg's day out was epic on October the 4th, 2025.